Jim here with director Gavin Hood and writer Bob Orci. We are here to talk about Ender's Game. Yes, the long-awaited adaptation of the Orson Scott Card classic sci-fi novel. Gentlemen, welcome to Comic-Con. First question, this project has been around for quite a while. I've been covering it for as long as I've been at IGN, and I've been at IGN a long time. How did it, what actually happened to make the project finally get off the ground?
Well, I want to introduce you to Bob Orci, who's going to answer that question.
As my producer.
I think there was a lot of fear about making such a complicated book that had young protagonists but also had adult themes, and so it went through the studio system for a long time. And finally what we did is we cobbled together a bunch of people who really believed in it from having been fans of it. So we have Digital Domain as a partner as producers. We have Oddlot, who actually had the rights to begin with. Lionsgate Summit came in, and then we also, we went and got foreign partners to help us put together the resources to make this movie. So it kind of took
I was the foreign guy that you got and went.
Yeah.
It was like pointing at me. Anyway.
Then we got this foreigner to come direct it and write the movie, and that's when it all came together. But frankly, when Gavin wrote the script, that's what gave everyone the confidence to go, I think we finally know how to make this movie, and we finally had the resources and the technology had finally advanced to the point where the movie could be made and not cost $500 million.
Now, what was the big draw to you about this story? What was the big appeal or hook of this particular story?
Well, I think what I love about Ender's Game is it has two incredible ingredients which are great for a movie of this kind of scale and allow you to be in a place like Comic-Con, and that is it has fantastic spectacle and great environments and wonderful sets and big set pieces, but it also has phenomenally strong characters. The character of Ender Wiggin is just a classic, wonderful character who is very complex, who's torn within himself with, is he somebody who is compassionate, or is he somebody who's more aggressive, and how will he resolve these conflicting forces within him and become the great leader not only of others, but of himself? How will he find his own moral compass in the world? And I think that's one of the reasons the book is so beloved. You've got great characters set in a unique and exciting environment. I mean, making the battle room and bringing that to life has been just amazing for Bob and all of us. We had great designers, and just a very exciting film from a visual and a character point of view.
Now, speaking of the characters, you have a hell of an ensemble cast in this, the least of which is this guy, Harrison Ford. Tell us about just trying to get Harrison to return to science fiction. Obviously, we know him from Star Wars, but also Blade Runner. And tell us a little bit about coaxing him back into the genre that, quite frankly, was where he got his start.
It goes back to Gavin's script. When he read it, and this is what he said. He said, I rarely ever read science fiction that's actually about something or that has emotion in it. And he's probably read a lot. So he was just attracted by the material. And then meeting him, then you had, then he sat down with Gavin and you had to talk him into it. How did you do that?
Well, I realized, well, first of all, it's the book that brings these amazing ideas forward, and I'm thrilled that Harrison responded to the adaptation. But then, of course, he didn't sign on immediately, as Bob says. He said he wanted to meet, and you think, okay, I'm going to go and see if Harrison Ford's really right for this movie, and you realize, no. Harrison Ford is auditioning you to see if he would like you to direct this movie with him in it.
Do I want to spend the next year of my life?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So I get to this meeting, I go, okay, so this is really me on trial here, and I really hope he likes me, and I hope he thinks that I have some idea of what to do with this movie. And so far he's been fooled, and here he is, and he's done a wonderful, wonderful job. And I think Bob and I are really thrilled that he and Sir Ben Kingsley and Viola Davis, all these fabulous actors, have signed on. I'd like to think the reason they signed on is because of these wonderful ideas in the film, not just the visual spectacle, but also that it's really a film that you can talk about after seeing it. And I think it really helped having these wonderful actors, because it helped the young kids who are, many of them acting for the first time, some second, third. But here they are with this really complex material, and they're able to play off of these very seasoned actors who were extremely generous in the way that they gave to the kids, weren't they, Bob? I mean, we couldn't have asked for a more fun and committed cast.
Let me ask you, though, about some of the characters that they're playing. Tell us about Colonel Graff, and also, of course, Ben Kingsley's character, who is another fan fave. So tell us a little bit about these the older characters in the story, which is largely about children. I mean, you actually aged up the young characters too. In the book, they're much younger.
Well, no, you raise to your point now. The difficulty with the book, of course, is that it's set over an extended period of time. It starts with a character who's 6 years old, and he's about 13 years old at the end. And when you're making a movie, I always find that if you're asking me to sort of bond with an actor, and then you change the actor on me, and then you change them again, and so Bob and I talked early on, is like, well, maybe he could be 6 for the first 5 minutes, and then we'd go. And eventually, we went, you know what? We want to bond with this kid and stay with him. So one of the first things we did in the adaptation was compress the time period from about 8 years into 1 year. And Asa Butterfield, I think, did a remarkable job of maturing through the process. We shot with him in sequence, and so he was a little nervous and naive when he started, but by the end, this kid had literally grown, hadn't he? I mean,
he grew 2 inches during the production.
Costume
design is like, what are we going to do with this suit?
Costume design was pulling their hair out.
Yeah. Now, tell us again a little bit about the elder characters like Colonel Graff and Rackham.
Well, well, I think that the great thing about this movie is that each of these characters is so unique and defined, you know, and you have someone like Harrison who, as Graff, is really playing this mentor father figure to a young person, but has to keep his distance because in his mind, the only way to keep this kid tough is to keep him at arm's length.
Right.
It turns out that may not be the best parenting skill, but it's what he firmly believes. And so there's a sincerity of purpose behind every character. There's no sort of stereotypical bad guy here. To the extent that there are protagonists, antagonists, villains, heroes, they're only so in the sense that they are complex characters operating from a position which they really believe to be valid. And what that makes for a very strong character. Mesa Rackham's position, played by Sir Ben Kingsley, is I got to train this kid to win. Yeah. And I cannot be sentimental about this. And Graff is very much the same, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And I think those actors bring that. So instead of playing bad guys trying to make kids do things, they play it sincerely. Yeah. And that's what gives it a sort of quality and of integrity. I'm very proud of the performances in this film. It's a great cast.
And Viola playing Anderson is the only one who's...
Sorry, go ahead.
Go. You know how Viola playing Anderson, she's a counterpoint to these two men who are trying to be as tough as they can be in a sense, not without empathy, but keeping them at arm's length. And Viola is questioning that. Anderson is questioning whether or not she should be more involved in these young protagonists' lives and be more openly discussing and caring about what they're going through. And Rackham and Graff don't agree with her, so there's an interesting tension among the three of them.
Yeah, it's like a classic family saga in a twisted way. Viola and Harrison play these sort of surrogate parents to the child, and they don't agree on how to best raise the kid. And all of this is taking place against this incredible backdrop of cool space images and wonderful zero gravity stuff. It's kind of wish fulfillment meets real emotional stuff, and that's what I loved about it.
Now, tell us a little bit about the battle room stuff. Obviously, like fans of the book really are looking forward to, like you said, it took a long time for the tech to get there so you guys could do this.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about shooting those sequences and what fans can expect from that stuff.
Well, obviously the battle room is dear to the hearts of every fan, and it was something that we really worked incredibly hard to make happen in the best possible way. We had a great stunt department, so all of these kids went on space camp training, first of all,
nice.
Worked with real astronauts, worked in these zero gravity simulation environments, and that was important because when you're on set directing, you don't want to be worrying about, do these kids actually understand the physics and the physicality of what they're doing? You want to be focused on the emotional things that are happening between the characters. So I'm very grateful to all my producers, for actually giving us the time to put these kids through proper training. That's number one. And then we had military advisors who came in and trained them in marching. And you don't want to be saying, listen, that salute's not how you do it, buddy. Yeah. By the time these kids stepped on set, they were like kids who'd been through boot camp. And they really went through boot camp. Yeah. Give me 20 more! Get up! Sit down! Oh, we'd hear them yelling, wouldn't we, Bob? Yeah. All up and down the corridor.
Most kids don't stand up straight, so that, right there, you whip them into shape. Yeah.
We had these extras who'd come in, hey, we're coming to work on Ender's Game. Stand up straight! What the?
All of a sudden, Lou Gossett Jr. shows up and knocks them into shape.
That was awesome. We had a great team of people in all these different departments that helped us mold the kids. Stunt department training them on wires, lots of time on wires. And then an incredible visual effects department led by Matthew Butler, who's, this genius MIT master's student who understands exactly how things are supposed to move in zero-G. And so wherever we could do it with the wires, we do it. And then if we had to augment with CG to make it perfect from a scientific point of view, Matt would insist on that. So a tremendous amount of care and detail went into working that battle room up. So I hope you guys like it.
So obviously, you know, people are always superstitious asking about sequels, but considering there are, you know, a number of books, what can you tell us about the intentions for a sequel? Is this something you would want to do right away because given the actor's age and not, you know, letting it go on too long? What kind of what is sort of the game plan there?
I mean, you said it at the top, which is that I think we are superstitious about talking about sequels. We try to put everything into making a good movie, and then if we're lucky enough and people enjoy it enough and there's an appetite for it, then we can think about other stuff. We're not particularly worried about ages or anything like that. There's so much material to draw from that we feel confident that if there is a further appetite for something, that we can make it organic to wherever our actors are. But we're not even done with this movie.
Yeah, we're not done with this one. Let's try to do a good job
of this. We're still making it.
Exactly.
Tell folks when they can see the movie. When is Ender's Game coming out in theaters, at least domestically?
It's kicking off the holiday season, November 1st.
November 1st.
November 1st.
November 1st.
Kick off the holiday season with Ender's Game.
Yeah.
Now, you've also started putting out some recruitment videos. I saw. How do you talk Harrison Ford into basically doing a fake PSA or recruitment ad? Is he, you know, I mean, they didn't do that back in the day when he was
fuel. He's a pilot.
right.
He loves to fly. Harrison will pay your cost of the fuel. Just come over here and make some stuff. That's all you have to do.
It's his Achilles heel. He always needs fuel.
Little fuel.
Because they didn't do that back in the day.
He's a pushover.
All
no,
right.
He's been an absolutely fantastic supporter of the film. I'd like to think he thinks it's a good film, and that's why, but we couldn't have asked for more. I mean, he's doing all these wonderful bits, extras for us, and I think his heart is really in it, and I'm very grateful.
I have just seconds left. I want to ask you about one non-Ender's Game thing. The third Star Trek movie, do you see yourself coming back for it now that JJ's doing episode 7, or?
Talking to Paramount about it, you know. I know they have a schedule they'd like to meet, and if we're able to deliver what they want, then we'd love to be a part of it, but
awesome.
We'll see.
All right, thank you so much, Gavin Hood, Bob Orci, talking to us today about Ender's Game. Thanks for watching.